And the important thing is they can't be held too long here, so they've been released to the start area rather late, and that's to keep them warm. Now it's just a question of getting the race organised. Final checks have been done. All they have to do is clip into the skis. Jackets will be staying on as long as possible. Rosie Brennan, she's tough, she's focused. First to take her jacket off, she means business today. And boy, has she looked good in the first 2 days of racing. And so close yesterday. 4.9 seconds behind. So it will be different. You can see the gloves, huge mitts that most of the athletes will be adopting today. When you're used to much thinner gloves, you have a different feel for your ski poles. In the summer months, of course, bare hands when you're roller skiing around. So certain things are different today, and they have to be at minus 16 air temperature. Katarina Hennig, all ready to go. Her expectations are high this year. Kerttu Niskanen, she's 35-year-old now. And she is the current, or the last winner of the distance Crystal Globe. So, not by her high standards. Yesterday she was a little off the pace, but today is her weaker skill. She prefers classic skiing. So about to get underway, all 55 athletes nervously waiting for the starter. And they're off. Carlson was a little hesitant there at the start, but she was expecting a slightly longer delay. And they're all off. This will be interesting, a fast descent here. We have seen speeds up to 59 kilometers an hour down here. It will be much slower today, given the very sharp, cold crystals under their skis. The snow is very aggressive in these temperatures, and you can just feel the speed is there, but much reduced from previous days. So a little traffic jam you can see there. The skiers farther back having to put the anchors on, the brakes on, into almost a snowplow, but safely out of the start. And there's always a little nerves there in case someone falls on the sharp left-hander, and it's a skittle effect if that does happen, and it has happened in the past. And again, we'll find today, until the race settles, only 1 minute of racing now. You see the athletes at the back. As soon as we start going into a climb, the Corsitina effect, you have to kind of queue up at the back, and then all the athletes get their stride. It's stressful racing in there. You imagine you're in the middle lane, you can't get past at the front, you can't get out left or right. You're kind of trapped in there, and you just have to play a patient game as this race progresses. Two great rivals, Carlson and Anderson, will, I think, be taking a lot of the lead pacing, although Anderson hopefully has learned from last year, where she had to pull back. She was caught by Carlson by 6 seconds, and then they were together most of the race last year. It was 20 kilometers, but it was a pursuit, so your time from the day before was how you set off. And Anderson did most of the lead work. I hope she has learned from her lesson from last year, that it doesn't always have the benefit of the outcome in terms of taking all the point work, all the lead work early on and throughout most of the race. First time we've seen this camera angle of this hill, and you just get a sense of how steep this is. Look at the traffic jam at the bottom. There's nothing you can do about it. You're carrying 20 kilometers an hour on the flat into the base of the hill. All of those further up reduced to about 8-10 kilometers an hour. So you do get this traffic jam. So nice to see Moa Ilar fearless at the front. So it's all about Sweden, 1, 2 and 3. Ilar, Carlson, Anderson. Rosie Brennan's there, looking comfortable. Tall figure of Victoria Karl in the dark suit there. she looks great this season, and she was delighted with that top position yesterday. So quite a separation already. Laukli, I thought we might see something today, and we probably will as the race unfolds, but 16 seconds behind, that's bib number 6, Laukli. Sorry, position 36, she's bib 27. Thought I got something a little bit misplaced there. On a mass start like this, there really is nowhere to go. You have to just be patient, I suppose. Yes, you can gain 1 or 2 places if you're 10 athletes back, but you're not going to gain, for the effort put in, you're not going to gain too much in the early stages. Just looking further back, Heidi Weng, expectations high, so let's have a look at the big names. I think, of course, we have to be looking at Carlson and Anderson. They were the big names. They didn't take part in all the races, the distance races last year, but when they were at the races, they were chasing the podium. And to back that up, Carlson won 4 of the distance races last year, equaling Anderson. She also won 4, but Carlson had 8 podiums and Anderson 6 podiums throughout the distance races last year. So it is beginning to spread out. You can see the separation of the athletes now as the pace is picking up. Look at that speed, 75.6 kilometers an hour. Incredible speeds, even in these cold temperatures. Nearly 50 miles an hour on these very skinny skis. And the wind chill factor there, I don't have my graphs up alongside me, 35. What has happened? Is it the cold already? So that's Sophie Crail deciding very early, after only 5 minutes, that she's going to pull out. I didn't see, we may see back, and there may have been an incident which I haven't seen, but very unusual, 5 minutes into race to be pulling out. Yes, the wind chill, go back to that wind chill, minus 16 air temperature, which is quite brutal anyway, regardless of the speed you're traveling. And then you're going up to 75, effective wind chill factor of 75 kilometers an hour. That makes creates an apparent feeling of certainly below minus 30 degrees. And now, of course, the pace much slower coming up this climb, and the blood will be moving back into your feet and your digits in these awful temperatures. So first time round, from 6. We appear to have just lost pictures for a short while, but I can tell you Ilar is still leading the way. There we are, she's still leading the way as they head back out into the distance.
Taktinen pelikirja käytössä. Kähärä, Ryytty, Immonen, siinä Kyllönen, aivan samassa letkassa.
So sorry about that little glitch there. We lost the pictures shortly, but back out on lap 2 of 8 laps today. 2.5 kilometer track. So we've seen one athlete pull out already. They haven't seen an incident in any, tangling on the track. So I assume it's the cold that has created the decision for Sophie Crail to pull out. We may see more today. The last thing you want is to get frost nip. I have had it myself. You get it in your ears, on your cheeks. Your cheeks tend to go white, and that's just the early stages. So the athletes are aware of that, and most of them are wearing buffs around the chin, up onto the cheeks, just to prevent that wind chill factor doing some damage. And of course, there's plenty good gear these days. The top-class gloves keep your hands warm, and plenty selection of thermals to keep the rest of your body warm. So the race punches on. Coming through, the red suits are beginning to ripple forward. Heidi Weng, she was very nervous before the 10 kilometer yesterday. In fact, she barely slept, so she's really up for, which indicates to me that her expectations are high, and I think higher than last year. There's Jessie Diggins. Good to see Jessie Diggins. Just so difficult to get through on this narrow track, only 2 columns of athletes. So welcome back. The race is still in its early days. This, the image there we're seeing is actually live on the track, but the time is when they came through the stadium, and Moa Ilar from Sweden leading the way at 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Rosie Brennan, a little surprised. She's dropped back into the mid part of the race. You want to always try and stay up the front if you can, if you're competitive. It's just so difficult to get through. Let's have a look at the images there. Lonely race when you're detached after coming up to 10 minutes. And look at the climb there. This is nothing but climbing, dropping down from the stadium. Then you start this long 1 kilometer climb. And this part is the steepest section. So every time you go up, you have to come down. And the long descent back into the final climb we saw earlier, picking up speeds of 75 kilometers an hour, just under 50 miles an hour. That really does create a huge wind chill factor. Have a look at the faces of most of the athletes now. The yellow patches are just protecting. That's the section of your face which tends to go very white if you get the early stages of frost nip. It just damages a few cells, and a couple of days later your skin, a little bit of skin begins to drop off. Bergan down in 29th from Norway, expecting great things in the season, during the season, but she doesn't seem to be on best form at the moment. 39, another of the German athletes, Katharine Solbre. And you can just feel once the detached feeling is there, it's a tough fight. You feel left behind. There's Amelia Wells, Canada, did 51 just going through there as well. They make them tough up here, don't they? So they're very patient spectators when every 6 minutes or 6.5 minutes the athletes are going to pass through the stadium, and of course for the final time up to the finish line. So the shape of the race, lap 2, Norway, the red suits are managing to push through. Plenty of Norwegians in the team. Astrid Øyre Schlind, the best from yesterday. Heidi Weng, we see her up the front now. And Kirsti Kalva, also there. Lotta Udnes Weng, more a sprinter, but she's there. And Kristin Fosnes, bib 31. So this is the fast section, 12 minutes on the clock. Your body temperature has really risen up on the steep climbs, but now let's have a look at the time. It's from about 12:06 on the clock, so you're holding this tuck position for a good 20 seconds, 25 seconds or more. Far better to be tucked in. So against Niskanen, 75.2 kilometers an hour. So that's over 30 seconds in that static high-speed descent, and the wind chill all the while. Well, this is quite some glide. So back into work now at 12:48. So yeah, just over 40 seconds descent there. Great recovery, so you do get the recovery, and that's an important aspect actually prior to the finish. You've got that good 40-second recovery, and that really does make a big difference to flush the lactic and get an element of recovery, especially the last time of asking up on this hill, heading towards the finish line as the race progresses. So that was Carlson we saw there. 25 coming up strong. Flora Dolce from France. Well, great to see. Not new names, of course. We saw some great things from her last season, and this is a spirited performance at 5 kilometers. Flora Dolce leading the way. It's still very tight. There's a group of somewhat 20-odd athletes in this first group, but there is a serious separation if you're not in this part of the race. There is no chance of hauling this group back in. Iduka, brilliant to see her up there. She didn't have her best day yesterday, but putting that to rights today. Jessie Diggins, bib 11, just gone through. Katarina Hennig. She's more really a classic specialist as Hennig, but has proved her worth it. Freestyle distance races on a couple of occasions last year. It just feels with Dolce going to the front that the pace has lifted. The excitement level, the nervousness level has also picked up. Emma Rebohm, bib 14, just gone through. She won day one of the sprint races. Great to see Jessie Diggins now just taking control here. She's been impatient. I saw her trying to get through and to get past some of the athletes, but a traffic jam back there. My word, this is a big hit, a big impulse of pace, and this will change things. The shape of the race now dictated by Jessie Diggins. Well, I said there may be others, and there will be, and coughing, bad indication. These cold cells, and you can see the crystals actually floating in the air when you look towards the sun, and you're sucking these in to the upper part of your chest, and you really feel it sucking in air, 120 to 150, 160 litres every minute. These athletes will be sucking into their lungs, and at minus 16 in certain parts of the course it's colder, actually down by the lake, minus 17, 17.5. But all the while, Jessie Diggins is focused on her technique, on her race strategy, and her decision has come early to change the shape of this race. So Moa Ilar led for most of the first lap. We saw Flora Dolce from France putting in a great pace up the climb to the finish, towards what will be the finish line on lap 8. Now this is serious stuff. At 6 kilometers, Jessie Diggins, well, it was back at 5.5 really, wasn't it, where she started punching the pace harder into her flow. And if anybody can handle front running, Jessie Diggins can. Incredible determination. And as she says herself, every day of asking, she clips in and puts a World Cup, Olympic or World Championships bib on. She gives her best for her country. I took the under-23 champion, overall best under-23 athlete last year. She's in 18th position. Palmer Koski, bib 13 there. 16 years she's been at the World Cups. Came along when she was 19 years of age and performed well. I think she was 31st in the sprint competition way back then. And she's been sensational since. So a cold day for the athletes, without a doubt. But equally, the coaches trackside, not just the coaches, the wax technicians, they've been out since, well, 6 o'clock, some earlier this morning, testing the skis, testing the snow, testing the waxes. It's a big backup team. And of course, a lot of support team trackside as well. Julia Hager there, bib 55, club skier. So Jessie Diggins has really rattled the nerves of all those at the front of this race. The pace isn't tough enough to get rid of them all, but certainly we're seeing a separation here. Fusnas desperately trying to get into the back of the lead group, which is now just being created. So the long descent, the long fast descent, here we have it. There's nothing overly technical here, but boy, if you were to fall here, 77 kilometers an hour, so Hennig setting the fastest time. We've seen 55 on the first lap, 55.7 on the second lap, and now 57 kilometers an hour. Brutally cold, and this is the coldest part of the race. There's the lake on the right hand side. So Jessie Diggins has created an absolute elite, if you like, separation. If you're in it to win it, you want to be in this pack here right now. You can see the little broken pack at the back. They know what's happening here and they're desperately trying to close it down. I think they will as the athletes start climbing this hill. Victoria Carl, there she is. The athlete from Zella-Mellis, which is just down from the Oberhof venue, which is more renowned as a biathlon venue. World Cups go there as it usually does. The World Championships were there, the biathlon World Championships there last year. And there's a ski school there for both the biathletes, the development of biathletes and cross-country skiers. Anyone that shows talent will go to the sports school, all winter sports school actually. And of course Victoria Carl was there. I was actually asked to do a talk in that sports school one time when I was racing, when we went there as a World Cup venue. So Jessie Diggins at the front, Victoria Carl in second place, 7.5 kilometers on the track. So here we are, Jessie Diggins. We did see Victoria Carl taking some of the lead work there, but the shape of the race has changed. Jessie Diggins has really amped up the pace. There's another American just trying to, Sophia Lauchley. I thought she might do well today. Bit of a traffic jam. She started in 27th position, so she's taken some time to work her way forward, but wouldn't it be nice if she could get up towards the front and share some lead work? It's unlikely, but not impossible. There's the red suits of Norway, maybe having a little chat, all four of them together. What should we do about the Swedes? What should we do about the American, the great Jessie Diggins at the front? At the moment, it's just a containment job, really, isn't it? So who else in the lead pack? I just try and get my timings up. There we are. Jessie Diggins, Victoria Carl, Carlson's there. We saw that. Moa Ilar, the Swedes there. Ebba Andersson, three big names. Emma Reborn, the sprinter from day one, she's there. Lotta Udnes-Veng, more a sprinter, but she's there. And Kirsti Kalva from Norway. She's only 3 seconds behind, and Heidi Veng. So really all the big names are still at the front. Further back, Heidi Veng, we mentioned. Claudel's there, so another strong French athlete. Slind is there. Flora Dolce now down to 12th place. Katrina Hennig, Pia Fink. So Germany, Sweden, Norway, and America. Sophia Lauchley up now to 15th position, so she's slowly moving forward, only 7.8 seconds behind. Lynn Svans in there as well, in 16th position. So yes, all the big names are where they want to be right now. Technically, I was watching some of the Nordic combined athletes, the men, over 10 kilometers. And yes, they've got two sports. They need to be very explosive off their jumping skis, huge jumping skis. And they have to have the endurance. It's a marriage that's opposite. Well, there's the bonus points. Carlsen, Anderson, Diggins, Carl and Slind. On the journey, there are 2 sprint points, and that's why there was a little ripple. And the pace will quieten down again. Well, we've seen 3, the limping indicating completely frozen feet. When those feet go solid, you just... And even when you're skiing, actually, I would imagine some of these top athletes here, they will not be feeling their feet. The blood demand for the main muscle groups in the legs, the back, the arms, that's where all the blood has to go to feed the requirements of energy to propel you along the tracks. And sadly, the digits, the ears, the fingers, the toes, they're forgotten about. You don't need blood down there. Yes, you need balance. And no matter how many socks you wear, actually, or how the ski boots are designed, it's very difficult to keep warmth down there. I've certainly had so many painful days, and you get used to it eventually. You seem to build a resistance to it over the years. But sad to see athletes limping off, cold feet, cold hands, and coughing, and these crazy minus 17, 16 in places temperature. But as cross-country skiers, all these athletes from young ages have been out on their skis and having fun in the early years, having fun now when it's going well. Let's be honest, it's only fun if you're winning. So further back in the field, Feindrich 106 behind, so quite well detached. Parmakoski 44 seconds behind. That's a shame. She had hoped for better, the spectators had hoped for better. 23, Anna Kiloinen, more a renowned sprinter in her long and illustrious career. Like another of those athletes who've been taking part in World Cup racing for more than 14 years. So we have now a little ripple at the front. There's a new energy. Anderson, Carlsen at the front. Jesse Diggins in behind in 3rd place. Norway athletes, the Norwegian athletes, just I think at the moment playing a patient game, but they better watch they're not caught sleeping, because this is a serious turn of pace. So we're looking at athletes at just under 46 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour. And a good recovery, 40 seconds. It's rare that you get as much as 40 seconds. It's not a full recovery because you're still tucking low, so loading the muscles and getting skate turns or compressions through the edges to carry momentum around the corner. So you're still working, you're not resting all the time, but your breathing is getting some form of recovery. Ready to hit this climb again. Carlsen there, the head just so down, it's unusual to be looking so far right between her skis, but such is the pain, and the mindset is just saying keep this momentum, keep the focus, keep my technique. And it's beautiful technique, the left leg, the left knee I should say, coming so sharp and far up into the hill to catch the weight transfer from one side to the other. Astrid Eure Schlind, well, she had a 9-year break from World Cup racing to take part in the Ski Classics, the series of distance races. And she did so well there, and incredibly coming back to racing. World Cup at age 34 last year, and did so well. third at the World Championships in skiathlon. Played a huge part in the relay for that gold medal at the World Championships. So Eva Andersson, the red bib at the front. The race has really picked up now. Now Andersson has held back for nearly half an hour. Last year it was different. It was a pursuit competition. She caught up the 6 seconds to Carlson and she led most of that flight. I really hope she's not going to put too much energy in at the front without gain, without breaking away or without others sharing the pace. I'm sure she'll be all over that. So 27:35 on the clock at half distance. So we're back out, 28:52:53 on the clock. It's lap 5 from 8. The next bonus sprints will actually come up around 16 kilometers, well 15.8 kilometers. And yes, you can pick up 15 points, reducing 15, 12, 10 for the first athletes through. That is significant. And it does often change the shape of the race, as we saw earlier, where Andersson took the 15 points. I do like the profile of this race. Yes, from the descent out of the stadium, it's quite a brutal kilometre. Then you get that 40-second recovery, and that's another close to a kilometre, 750 meters descent you have there. So really you have to keep the mind in planning your attack for this race. You have to keep ready for the fast descent out of the stadium, then get the mind ready for this climb. Long gradual climb to begin with. Now it hits much steeper, slight undulations, but still climbing as we look far distance there. And then there's the return journey back down. So this is a world of climbing. Then you've got the descending over that long period. There's the tail end athlete just going down now. So the shape of the race is unfolding. There are only a few at the front now, some slightly detached, so they are struggling. When you see that slight detachment, it means you're hanging on by a thread. Have a look in the background. So the background chase is being led by two of the Norwegians, and they're trying to close this down. It's hard to close it down when the break has been created. So, Andersson, Diggins, Carlson's there, Slind, Carl, Victoria Carl is having a great start to her season. Bergana, well, I said we expected great things, but yesterday she didn't produce. And she is fearless, a 22-year-old, going to the front. So 11.1 kilometers. That's Teresa Stadlober on the left and Fosnas on the right. So Austrian suit and Norwegian suit. 42 in the picture there. Club racer from Finland. Vilma Riti. Looking good technically. And all these experiences, getting an opportunity at home to race in a World Cup, it's a huge privilege and a huge, though maybe scary, experience. 33 in agony with the cold as well. Francesca Franchi from Italy. Oh, that is serious stuff. The morale can go down without a doubt. I remember racing at minus 21. You weren't supposed to. It was the World Championships in Finland in biathlon, and for many days the race had been postponed, put back, temperature's down at -30. And boy, was it cold. Just touching anything, just trying to stay warm, zeroing the rifles was awful. But the races go on, and you just need to dress accordingly. Well, this is interesting. Let's get a look at the glide factor. Certainly, to me, it looks like Bergan's skis. Marta Bergan, her skis much slower than the two Swedish athletes, and that's demoralizing. In third place now. That's incredible. It's so rare that we see Norwegian athletes. And look at the glide factor. So from first back to fifth, that is horrible. Yes, it's a long glide, but it's not just on the downhill that you feel the impact of a ski that's gliding, sliding a little less fast. It's on every stride you make on that ski. You actually feel it compared to a sharp and fast ski. Well, that was interesting to see, and very rare that we see that top-class Norwegian athlete. Mostly, I would say, down to the ski preparation, the base of the ski, and of course fluorocarbon waxes, the C8 formula, are not allowed. They haven't been allowed for a couple of years, but the testing is underway now, and pre-race, that is a check. Anyway, let's get back to the race. 18 coming good now. She's coming back towards the front. Lost a lot of time. That's Bergan, the 22-year-old. She's a former 15-kilometer classic junior world champion back in 2021. And we saw in the Oslo 50-kilometer, I remember thinking, oh, a 21-year-old to be doing the 50-kilometer, doing the same distance as the men now. Bergan was selected into that race, and so often she was at the front. And I remember suggesting at such a young age and lack of experience at this level, I said either she's fearless, she's self-confident to the end degree, and I think that's what it was. In the end, she finished 6th, but so often she was at the front, dictating the pace. I think we'll see Bergan again on this next rotation, lap 6 of 8. I think we'll see her trying to break free at the front again. Dolce's there, just a little detached now at 11 seconds. That's a lonely race. Can she get back in? Number 9, that looks like Lindsvan. It is Lindsvan. And 26, the German suit in behind. That's Pia Fink from Bremelau, not far from Stuttgart, over in the western part of southern Germany. And bib 5 there, Katarina Hennig. I said she'd been working hard on her freestyle, just getting a drink there, you can see. But hopefully it wasn't frozen. It definitely would have been frozen. The coaches would not allow that to happen. And most likely a warm drink in today's conditions. 19, Jonna Sundling, second on day 1 in the sprints, Jonna Sundling. But certainly not at the races today, but she is a good distance racer as well. "14 athletes for the second last time up this climb, the steepest of climbs, and this looks like a definite decision maker now. Well, this is the standings at 12.5. That was in the stadium, but now we've got a break, an attack coming on very, very early. I think that is Carlsen. Just not 100%, can't quite, just going by technique. Oh, how wrong of me. It's Anderson, of course. They do look quite similar. And it's the fighter, Anderson, at the front, followed by her teammate, Carlsen. Jessie Diggins is in there, just trying to stay with this break. It's a significant change of pace. I think they will haul Ebba Anderson back in. Look over her left shoulder there, and you can see the hill doesn't finish here. It still continues. 18, Bergan. When it comes to the climbing, she's there. She's stronger than the rest. She's getting back up towards the front. Let's have a look at her ski. She needs to tuck in behind one of these faster athletes on the descent. So that's 12.5. We saw Jessie Diggins leading, but it's definitely Anderson, Carlsen, Diggins, Victoria Karl, Slind, Bergan, Veng and Kalva. the top 8 in the pack. Well, this is a real sustained effort, a breakaway attempt, isn't it, from Anderson? She just feels she's lost the momentum. She really kicked hard. There's Bergan. What a fighter. And those skis are definitely not gliding as fast as those around her, and that really makes every stride that little bit more difficult. Great effort. So after this is now the very top, about 1 kilometre of climbing, and then spin back, climb up again to the high point again, and then it's the huge descent back towards the stadium. 26. Pia Fink. Behind her, it's Lynn Svan, who had a real serious injury. It didn't look like much. She fell over in the race, tripped up by someone alongside her, fell badly. She'd won 6 races that season in 2021. The shoulder injury was so bad that it took her out of the whole of the next. She tried to come back for the Olympics, but sadly, really sadly, the shoulder wasn't working. She'd been winning so many sprint races, but unfortunately lost most of that season and lost the opportunity to go to her first Olympic Games. But she's back and sprinting very well now. Bib 15, that's Teresa Stadlober, Olympic bronze medalist in skiathlon, so 7.5 classic followed by 7.5 freestyle. This is the freestyle, the skating action. Bergan at the front again. I thought she might just tuck in behind one of the 2 Swedes, but Fearless at the front. Maybe the Thimos hold them back, but they will slide past if those skis are going faster. So Bergan, this is a significant break now. 3 at the front. Jessie Diggins, I think it is, leading what will be the chase. So is that Anderson tucked in behind Bergan with Carlson coming through. Great strategy from Bergan. She deliberately fought so hard to get the point, the first position down this descent. So that's good. This will be Bergan just figuring out the strategy for the final time round coming up soon. So just at the very end, they're beginning to catch and lap athletes, but that was very interesting. Bergan, bib number 18, she did lose with the slightly reduced glide. She lost some of the pace. And then all of a sudden, the pack that was detached are back in contact again. So this soon is the chase for the second opportunity to pick up bonus World Cup points. Tall figure of Victoria Carl in 4th place. Great race today. I beg your pardon, did I say it was 1 lap? I'm getting overexcited here. Of course, 2 laps left, 0.8 of a kilometre. Sorry, 1 kilometre until they have the opportunity to pick up more points. So the pace will probably calm down a little before that final punch. So all back together again. Is it still the 14 athletes? Let's have a look. I didn't get a chance to count. Yes, it is. Laukley in there in 14th position. 14 athletes from 55 standing tall at the front of the pack.
Kun Rukalle ja Suomeen saadaan maailman parhaat maastohiihtäjät keskenään mittelemään toisiaan vastaan. He tykkäävät tästä.
So we're at the business end of the race now. 2 laps to go, 2.5 kilometer laps of this severe track. And let's be honest, in severe conditions. Coldest part of the course, actually below -17 now. It is quite brutal. Nearly midday here in Ruka, but the temperature, the sun has little influence. It's so low in the sky. It doesn't warm much up at all. But the athletes, we've seen many drop out with colds, coughing, cold fingers, cold toes probably, but the majority have stayed with it. So there's going to be a surge of pace undoubtedly soon for the second bonus points coming up. And often this surge, this change of pace, it really can affect you, the recovery now. We're well into the mid, 40 minutes, 41 minutes of racing, 42 minutes, 43 minutes of racing, so a big attack of pace now. It really does trip you up a little. But anyway, Anderson, Carlson, they're deciding they want the 15 points. The rest are letting it go, staying at level pacing. Jessie Diggins just tempted. She's trying to contain them a little. But the rest of the athletes in this pack are just letting them disappear. So here's the bonus trophy points. And once again is Anderson, Carlson, Diggins. So good points picked up by those three both times. Ilar still there. And Moa Ilar and Carlson for me. Rosie Brennan, great to see Rosie Brennan there. The big fighters, the big names are there. Lotta Udnesvang, she's there, bib 20. So Carlson has equaled Anderson with 27. Jessie Diggins third both times, picking up 20 bonus points. So certainly the pace, yes, it has picked up for the bonus points, but throughout the last 4 kilometres, Bergan has really initiated increased pace. Anderson has tried a couple of times to make a significant move, but never allowed to get away. So 16.1 kilometres, Carlson, Anderson, Diggins. Bergan in fourth, Ilar, Victoria Karl, the German athlete up the front, Heidi Weng's there, and Kirsti Kalvas there, and Delphine Claudel. Come on, Rosie Brennan, there's Rosie Brennan. Fabulous second position yesterday. She's going wide on the track, trying to get round some of the athletes ahead of her. Painfully detached now, really in no man's land. Dolce tried some of the earlier pace, led for a short while, and maybe that was her undoing today. Lynn Svan just keeping her rhythm and her stride, not able to stay with the pace, detached by just over a minute 14. And looks very much in control. 3 hard days of racing, the sprints, then the 10-kilometre classic time trial, and the hardest day of all on Sunday, the final day. Now, who's going to come over the hill first? Is it Carlson? Is it Anderson? Most likely Anderson. She did this last year, took on so much of the lead work, and she's doing it again this time around, as she obviously deeply confident in what she's doing. And who am I to say that it's wrong? It didn't work last year, but maybe she's got a plan B this time around. So, the two Swedes at the front. Jessie Diggins is there. Bergan, I'd love to have seen Bergan tucked in behind somebody, because the skis just are not competitive at this level today. There she is, she's been passed again and left behind. Moa Ilar, great skis. Can she get the momentum to bring her back into this pack? Oh, to have good skis. What a bonus. Well, without a doubt, to glide right through the pack to catch up with Carlson, to catch up with Anderson. Moa Ilar will be thinking, right, survival, stay with them until that high point next time around, and she can maybe get a gain into this final climb, which on the next time of asking is up to the finish line. At the back you can see Lauchley, she loves the steep climb, so 2 American suits in this 14 at the front, 1 German, beg your pardon, 3 Americans. Of course, Jessie Diggins, Rosie Brennan and Lauchley at the back. There's Victoria Karl, the dark suit of the German. 18, Bergan for Norway. 16, Ann-Kirsti Kalva for Norway. Heidi Weng's in there as well. Tiro Udnes Weng is in. So, is there a ripple? Who's going to lead down the hill? Well, Moa Ilar with those good skis. Could she break away? Bergan knows that she has to take the pain on the track. She knows that the skis are going to hold her back, so she's going to try, I think, and break away. She's gone to the front. 2.5 kilometers remaining. 14 athletes still at the front. And the pace has been restless. Jessie Diggins looking fine. She didn't know what to expect this season. She said 1 race at a time. So many setbacks. She did attend the on-snow camp, as always, in New Zealand for a couple of weeks in August, and it looked beautiful, absolutely beautiful, at the snow farm. So out of the stadium they go. They're pretty used to this descent now, on the 3rd day of so many races, and for the 8th time of asking on this track today. Bergan at the front, she knows her limitations, and sadly she's been held back by those skis today. It's so unusual at this level, and I'm so impressed. Look how much she's lost. No momentum to carry her into this rise, but let me tell you, she will not give up, she will not give in. She'll try and break through the pack and still try to manage the situation with fighting on the uphill climbs. Well, that caption, Bergan, that was as they went through the stadium. She did lead it to try and control the pace on the descent. It didn't work. Now then, let's have a look at body language. What can we see? I think we can see a tired Bergan on the left side, but that's really her style. She drops down a little lower. I think we might well see Ann-Kirsti Kalva begin to come through, and Heidi Weng, those who have not done any, I was going to say wasted energy, no pace changes, just kept a steady pace. They may well have a little more energy in their tank, ready to unleash, ready to attack. But right now it's Jessie Diggins. Anderson's not letting her go easily. Carlson is following everything today, keeping very calm. Rosie Brennan, we saw her there on the right side as we look up the track. She's trying to go wide. Is she trying to break through on the right side? Almost too early for an absolute break, an absolute sprint attack now. Not a bad idea to try and get rid of some of the numbers. Oh, it's just horrible. And then after this, there is another climb. And here it is from the front view. They came round the 5 kilometer track twice yesterday. This is the 2.5 kilometer today, incorporating this hill each time. Jessie Diggins has Rosie Brennan to her right now, so the Americans at the front for the first time, the two of them at the front. Can they dictate things? Can they hold the gang back, those chasing? I don't mean hold them back, but psychologically it's more difficult getting around somebody. Emma Rebohm, the sprinter, the winner from day one, incredibly, is the endurance athlete today at the back of this pack. For me, oh no, oh, that point looked like it got her in the face. Unfortunate there. Jessie Diggins, what happened? What a shame. Let's hope that with the big glove, she hasn't got her hand into that strap yet. I didn't see that, my apologies. Was her ski pole skied over? I think it may have been Team Sweden, believe it or not, who gave her a pole. The glove's off. Oh my word. Come on, come on. So we've got a situation at minus 17 degrees. Looks like she's lost the glove. There's only a few minutes left of the race. She won't, may hurt her hand on the journey with the temperatures. Is she going to get a glove? But anyway, she'll have to deal with that. There's the main downhill section coming, and she needs to try and stay with the pace. Little flurry of anxiety in the American coaching staff. They've seen that on the big screen, and it could not have happened at a worse time to break your ski pole before the huge descent, which takes them up to speeds of 77 kilometers an hour. And if that hand isn't covered, let's be honest, those fingers are going to get cold at those speeds. Anyway, come on, Jessie Diggins. Let's hope that ski pole is now on, secure, and she can get back to the fight. Rosie Brennan is in second place. The Americans were well placed in 1 and 2. Oh, Jessie Diggins, let's go. It is a bare hand scenario. There was no time to pick up a glove, but hopefully she'll be okay. She certainly won't give up nor give in. So the fast descent has started, and a breakaway at the front. Where's Bergan? I think she's in 5th place at the moment. The Norwegian suits haven't managed to get up towards the front. Well, Heidi Feng at 74.2, so the skis generally slow down a little on these aggressive crystals. Oh, I thought someone fell. My apologies there. Where's Jessie Diggins? Come on, Jessie Diggins. Oh, so now the final climb coming up just under the hour. Well, coming up towards 55 minutes of racing, and there's a huge sprint happening lower down. Where's Bergan? Of course, she won't be near the front with those slow skis. And it looks like, I suggested it last time, Moa Ilar had the advantage with her incredible skis coming into the descent. She is a sprinter as well as a distance racer. Could this be her first ever victory over distance racing? The rest of the pack, Jessie Diggins incredibly coming through. She was at the back of this 14. She lost the pole. She got a new one. She lost her glove. She's still gloveless. Come on, Jessie Diggins. Incredible determination and desire from Jessie Diggins. The ski pole is too big. There is no glove on that hand. She's in second place. And it's Ilar still leading the way at the moment. Moa Ilar. The Americans are second and third. Where are the Swedes? Big name Swedes, that is, with Carlson and Anderson in 4th and 5th. Come on, Jessie Diggins. Ilar at the front. Jessie Diggins trying to get a victory here in Ruka, but it's not going to go her way today. What a pity she lost the glove. And it's Ilar taking the victory here today. Jessie Diggins second. And incredible Rosie Brennan third again. The Norwegians were at the races, but not at the sharp end. And the two big names from Sweden, the ones we all thought may take the titles today, were not on the podium. What an incredible race. Well, that's the ski pole. We saw the thump in her face from a ski pole. There's a lot of blood there in Jessie Diggins' face. I think someone tried it. I think it was a Swedish, I'm not sure, a coach tried to pass the ski pole the wrong way round. But quite a nasty cut there in the face, and I would suggest she needs to get some gloves on now as well when she gets her breath back. Well, what a victory for Ilar. Incredible skis today she had. Jessie Diggins not quite able to catch her on the line. And there's Ilar, Jessie Diggins and Rosie Brennan, your 1, 2 and 3 today. Well, I can tell you, Moa Ilar, we saw that in her early season races. Her form is good. We just saw a little picture there of Jessie Diggins just absolutely exhausted. And Ilar, her best ever result in World Cup racing was yesterday prior to today. She came 4th